These two are college photos. Here is a picture of me when I was in college, and there's Senator Harris. This was on Howard's, this was probably on a Friday, on the yard. From a young age, I'd say probably 5 or 6, I saw my mother, who was a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha, and my grandmother was a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha. And I saw the sisterhood. I saw this dynamic group of impeccable women that I wanted to be a part of. So I knew the obvious choice when I went to Howard was to at least try to be initiated into the sorority. I would say that probably at least 500 probably were striving to be in our pledge class.
There were 38 of us on the line. You have to keep in mind that Howard at that time had approximately 12,000 students. 500 wasn't really a big number, but it is a big number.
I think this actually may have been the first Friday after we were initiated. So that's, you see the joy in everyone's faces. And Senator Harris is here. One thing that I remember is that Senator Harris was the person who would come into the room and she would say what needs to be done. She was very task-oriented, very focused, and she wasn't afraid to work hard. So that's something that I specifically remember. That quote, what needs to be done?
She never was a hee ha ha, kind of what you would say typical sorority girl. She was a part of sorority because the sorority was a part of the community in a greater level of service.
What you see in terms of that very focused person, the very dedicated person, the very convicted, stands up for her convictions, while also just being a human being, that's actually real. And so it's nice to see the same, to see that consistency, both, in her professional life as well as, what I've experienced in her personal life. You have to have within you the want to serve community, as well as wanting sisterhood. And those are the things that will attract a person. It actually grows and nurtures that want of community service, and so then it continues for the rest of our lives.
The goal for our sororities and fraternities at Howard was show leadership, to engage the student body in service, and to carry out an agenda that would raise African American people.
You could find what your contribution in life was going to be. You could figure that out at Howard. And I think that the sorority is just a microcosm of the campus life as a whole.
I was an early supporter of President Obama when he first ran. And do you remember that conversation that would happen about, is he black enough? Mm-hmm. You remember that? Mm-hmm. And I was a surrogate, and so I remember doing a few interviews, and I would talk in response to that question about Howard University. When one asked that question, are displaying your lack of exposure to who is a black person and what a black person can be and is. And so I would explain what it means to stand on the yard at Howard University. The yard is an area that is covered in grass in the middle of campus. If you stood on the yard in any day of the week, journalist, whoever you may be who's asking this question, you could look over there and you would see young black students who are in the fine arts. You could look over there and you would see young African Americans in white coats coming from the School of Med or pre-med. You would see that the football star was also on the debate team. You would see that there are no limitations and there are no choices in terms of false choices that one need make. And so you shouldn't be limited in your view and perspective of who is who and what is what.
There's no longer the thinking that you have to be a Harvard graduate or you have to be a Yale graduate or a Princeton graduate. You can attend an HBCU and you can do anything that you want to do. Just seeing her make history and all that it meant for women, women of color, little girls who look like my daughters. It was just a moment in time, you know, that you had to be a part of. I'm seeing a lot of excitement, you know. I certainly believe that it's going to be reflected in the ballot box.
Next year is our 35th year of being in the sorority, and we're just trying to figure out how the Secret Service fits into our into our time together.